I'm Jackson. I have zero experience with carpentry.
I studied at a school for historic preservation in Boston and learned about how things were built, 250 years ago.
There's a long way to go. I'm nowhere near the top. Not that I thought I was, but there's so much more to do out there.
Welcome back to the Passion for Craft podcast. We're here today at an undisclosed location because we're, right?
Yep.
All right. And we are checking out some of these production homes. As Brent just said, we really love them. We're big fans.
The deal is we had our last episode where we talked about the challenge of trying to build out here. So we're actually out here looking at these houses, talking about, how do you build something better? Okay. Yeah. And so, we're looking at these architectural details, like that house right across the street. You've got those dormer windows that you never see when you're inside the house.
The dormer windows for the layman are the top story windows by the...
Whatever those are, whether that huge dormer or that roof, it's just, what is it? And so you have these architectural elements that's pure, just let's show from the street. And then on the side of these houses, no windows, it's all about that
It's
front
all
face.
about the street view.
Well, what I want to say is just, guys, welcome to my world. I spent 10 years in these type of communities, and I feel quite at home. Right
you feel at home? It's very welcoming.
Well, what's crazy is now seeing from what I know now and then coming back, it's been a while. I mean, I haven't been to this community, but you've been to one, you've been to them all. So, but seeing the details, it's oof, I'm just looking at goodness, man, can we get these staples lined up? Do you have to use that color to bolt these to the side?
That color screw is just crazy. The fact that they wouldn't screw that in first and then bolt the nails to it is bananas.
Well, and I'm just standing here and I just see
another thing that they do for drama is they uplight the house. Okay, that is the last 20 or 30 years that we've been doing that. Look at this. They've got 5 or 6 of them across the thing to create this drama, and it does. It creates drama when you see it, but it's stupid. It's just it's a look at me, kind of, approach that's it's all focused on the wrong things. I mean, look at the fact the way this gutter hangs out. I mean, this would look better if it was a round gutter instead of a kind of this molded gutter. This material right here is this, composite wood fibered thing that,
it's plywood on the edge of that.
It's not, I don't think, going to last. And so
definitely not, because I have that on the back of my house where there was an addition and I tried to work on it and I tried to pry it off and it just crumbled.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you.
So, and then these windows, okay, this is a vinyl window, right? And so it is...
what does that mean for the layman?
Plastic.
It's plastic. And so, you've got fiberglass windows, you got vinyl windows, you got aluminum windows. As far as just cheaper quality windows, this is just something that Richard said in that other episode where it just literally fell apart. This will fall apart.
Yeah, and it's mostly the little latch inside where you open it.
Yeah.
You open it enough times after the sun hits it, and then, it just gets weak and brittle and cracks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so one of the things that's just kind of crazy about these houses is we've talked about it before, but the sticker-like quality that a lot of these houses have, you really can see it through the thinness of this guy right here. I mean, these shutters, although proportioned correctly, up close, they look pretty awful.
What I'm hoping to do is avoid stuff like this. Like this is a screwed on bracket. It's actually nailed on, but it looks like it's someone glued it on, as opposed to something where it's actually, this thing properly proportioned laid out could look a lot better.
Why? What about it? For the untrained eye, I'm looking at this
historically,
house. Look at that house. They have a literal 2x4. I know I'm playing to the wrong house, but they have a 2x4 thing that is just sitting a foot and a half away from the house.
But
this looks thicker. This looks better.
Okay. Gable end decoration. There is historic precedent for that. Okay. If we're going to create a timber framed house, if that's what we're implying, right? those timber frames were held up with brackets. They were supported with brackets, and so there would be a bracket that was mortised and tenon into here, and then up into the beam above, and it would have had structural purpose. Okay, and if you go back even farther, like the English and French things, they would actually mortise these in so that there was physical strength that was holding this bracket and keeping it, keeping everything going. This is tacked on, right? There's no structural support there. It's a visual.
It's a sticker.
It's a sticker. And so that's what I mean. It's just like, if we could just fix the brackets and the way that they're made, no more money, no more time,
right,
but it would look a lot better.
Right.
And so that's the thing that we're kind of hoping that, gosh, we do 5 or 6 or 8 of those things, it could be a lot better.
Yeah.
That's like that quote you said the other day. I'm going to butcher it, but what is it? Malicious and stupidity?
Yeah. It's don't attribute to malice what stupidity can explain away. So
yeah,
basically,
just that.
They're not intentionally doing this. They just don't know any better.
They just don't know any better.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is what we're hoping to change.
Exactly.
Well, I say we, but
Brent.
he. Yuck. Whoa, look, my ankles can get hit on the thing there.
Man, that's a hearth.
A lot of sheetrock.
Oh, it's hollow.
Yeah, it's a box.
Is that an alarm?
Mantle.
Yeah, look how they made it. They didn't even monitor the corners.
Hello. Anybody home?
Okay, so this is the vinyl floors. Okay, these are not real wood. These are vinyl floors that will continue to off-gas for a long time.
Okay, I should have asked last episode. You keep saying it. I thought it was going to go away after one use. What's off-gas mean?
So when you make things from formaldehydes, from glues, from
Is
things
that what I'm
like
spelling?
that, yes, those things continue to off-gas. Okay, meaning they are putting vapor into the air of formaldehyde, glue, things that make this stuff. MDF has the same stuff in it. And so there's a health piece to this that products like vinyl, I mean, sometimes cheap furniture will off-gas for a long time. And so, but
we shouldn't stay in here too long is what you're saying.
well, you don't want to live here. Oh, wait. And so that's the problem with it. So I sit there and go, well, look, what would be a cheaper way of doing this? I could put concrete floors down, right? No wood.
Yeah.
And it'd save everybody a lot of money, and maybe I put money into something else. Or how much more is it going to cost us to have real wood floors, right? What is the savings here? And that's what we're going to dig into and figure out.
Wow.
But we're at a point where, almost all of this is builder grade stuff, like the hardware, and it's just the cabinets. It's just the cheapest of the cheap. And
you said it's a shame that that's called builder grade.
I hate that.
Say, yeah, that's
builder
crazy.
grade ought to be the professional grade, and it's not. It is the cheapest.
Yeah,
what is the pro grade? Pro grade custom?
Maybe architectural or designer stuff, things like that.
Okay. I've seen this paneling detail a couple of times now. The 8 or 9 high panel.
5 panel.
Is that normal? Looks weird.
Well, there's the 5 panel door goes back to the late Victorian era when they had 5 panel doors.
Oh, this is really Victorian.
One thing I hate about these houses, and it just irritates me, is this vault that always comes down. It's just
the slope.
Weird, just this weird vault. It always just bothered me, and they all have it. Yeah, and it's just ugly and irritating, and then it makes it weird because we would do a lot of crown, and then we would take our crown down that up and around, or stop it right there, which is also weird. We would stop it at the peak before it slopes.
So what we've got on our house, and you can see that you're walking in and it kind of flows around. It's not real organized. We've tried to lay out our house so that it's very symmetrical, so that you walk in, there's a center line, you walk through, the fireplace is right in front of you. That's your large living room. It opens onto a deal. I don't know if that'll be better, but it won't be as, you won't have weird ceiling angles. You won't have weird details.
Speaking of weird details, do you see that the cabinets on top of the air vent? Isn't that fun? It's a cool little.
Basically, they're just trying to create interest over the hood, and so they build.
They're trying to make a pattern, but
add some doors on it.
Real fun.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Notice that all the arched openings are just are just sheetrocked openings. There's not a lot of trim in here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's base molding. There's a little bit of door casing. It's just a 1x MDF, right?
Mm-hmm.
1x6. It's I'm sure it's not a ton of money.
The base in this house probably $1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
maybe.
I mean, I sit here and I try to not be a jerk, right? And sit there and go, someone's going to be real happy in this house, right? It's $500,000. You'll see that there's these bedrooms and master, and you have all the amenities that check the box. Hey, I've got a double oven. I've got microwave. I've got I've got all of these things. But it's
well, you kind of
right. I don't want to be a jerk. I mean, someone's going to be real happy here. But
someone needs to tell you the truth, though. Also, like to them, they probably don't know. Ignorance is bliss. But if you start learning,
but think about what I'm saying. When I say things like I got a double oven, I got a microwave, I'm checking off these functional attributes that'll make my house better. Nothing's about beauty. It's all about
function, not form.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking around here because there's just a lot of weird, and I'm like, this is crazy because what do you do over here? Do you put a couch like this to then frame the TV on the wall up there?
That's a good point.
They've mounted a TV there.
So you're backed up right to the windows.
Yeah, and then there's like half your windows covered by couch. What are you looking at the back of the couch?
If your mother was here,
yeah,
she would say you do not put couches up against the wall. They come out into the room. So your couch your couch would probably be here.
Okay.
Right? Chair, something like that.
Okay. Maybe double chair over here, a lamp away. But maybe. It feels like an odd space, right? Like this, whoever does windows like this,
well,
this
that's
hurts.
What I'm saying, the organization of these spaces, this is a weird room. Angle, square, then it lops off. It's just.
Well, but then even on top of that, like look at this little pocket of joy right here.
Yep. Yeah, that was also a big problem for us when people would want to do trim. I mean, it's just
it's on both sides. They literally just
transitions.
Put brick on top of an already finished wall
what
piece.
What they're doing is we've got a raised fireplace, and they're trying to create something. It's cheaper for them to build a box and just put brick up the wall than it is for them to do a mantle, right? To do something that would be much prettier.
And this thing is obnoxiously big.
I guess
it's big.
But like, wouldn't it be better? I guess if they laid the brick in to like right even with it, wouldn't that be better?
It would look like it's
planned. Because this looks like a renovation on it.
I don't know if it's better.
I know this is built new, but it's not better. All right, let's transition.
The master's back here. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're in the master now. I mean,
the good old duct tape.
What in the world?
This is the ceilings I hate.
Did they hit something?
I guess I sit here and go, gosh, they got a double sink. We got a freestanding tub. Here are all the things that are coming out of my mouth. We got a walk-in shower. We've got this huge closet. We've got the own water closet. The toilet has its own room. I mean, I got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Right. I'm ticking off all these boxes of stuff again, but
I feel like it's like polishing a turd, kind of.
I know, but that's what I'm struggling with. I'm sitting there going, someone's going to be real happy here because they got all the amenities. It's just not beautiful. It's not
right.
It could be so much better.
Well, the question is, could you at the price point, which
that's exactly what we're trying to figure out.
We grabbed the paper at the model home on the way in, and it's mid-5s to mid-6. So. That's the big question. Can you do it where you check all these boxes you're talking about, but in a beautiful way?
That's exactly what we're trying to figure out.
But it's also
and the other thing is that on the exterior, you see the precedent that's already been set in this neighborhood. We're kind of, bumping up against that, trying to play with those architectural details, the timber on the outside, the gable fronts, the lights with dormers, right? There's just a few things that we want to be familiar in style, but want to be better.
So walk me through this, but from both of your guys' perspective, where do you think most of the money in this house is coming from?
That's a good question. I was wondering about where are you putting
framing and framing lumber?
Okay.
Framing
Is that a
and
lot?
framing material. Yeah.
Put a number to it, just to give me like a ballpark estimate.
Probably around $50,000.
Okay.
So 10% of your budget.
Yeah, that's a big portion.
Yeah. Concrete's probably 30.
Really? Okay. So there's a fifth of your budget-ish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Like, how much do these appliances cost? Like a freestanding tub like that. I mean, I know it's a freestanding tub, but it doesn't actually look like the nicest.
The appliance is probably a $10,000 appliance package, maybe 15 at
Is
the
it?
most.
And it's a package, like they'll buy them all together. And so, like a appliance supplier, like Samsung or someone, will probably not Samsung, but they'll dish them out like that.
Well, the appliance showrooms will have, builder packages and other things, and they're grouped in package. Sub-Zero Wolf is a package.
Got it.
So, right. So
Okay.
you get them all in the little suites.
So, but then, I guess some of the adjustments that you're talking about making have come on the design side, and that's not a big part of your budget, right?
Correct.
And so that's good. That's a big save. But then a room like this, if this is the master bedroom, they're going for a vaulted ceiling kind of look, I guess.
I don't know if they're going for it or if it's just the
necessity of the outside.
of the roof line.
Yeah, I think
they can't
Or
go
maybe
straight
they are
up.
going for it. Maybe they think, ooh, vaulted. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what their mentality is on it. But your point, I was thinking about what you're saying, well, I feel kind of like a jerk because someone's going to be real happy here. I don't know, because people are happy eating McDonald's, and that doesn't make it right.
I agree with that. I do think someone's going to be happy here, but also I feel like it's happy out of ignorance, right? Because it's
Yes.
they don't know what they could have.
Well, I mean, I look at the windows, okay?
Yeah.
And so the actual proportion of this window is close to a 3x5, okay? Which is that golden rectangle thing. But why when the window tradition for 1,000 years has been to divide this out between two things, and if you create this traditional look, why are we down here at 60-40? Why have we?
I see.
Why are we not 50-50? And so me as a designer, I'm sitting there going, okay, real quick, I'm fixing the windows so that we're
the panes are split.
because that's going to be that reminder. Oh yeah, this is traditional. This is something that's going to. This is just goofy. It's just I don't know if they're saving money.
This is a cheaper window package to do.
Well, why do you not split it in the middle? Do you save money by actually having only a 40% window there?
Look at their stop too. This is brand new. It's already
I know.
peeling off.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
That's the stop to catch the window to stop right.
The window thing, it makes sense. You want it low, right? So that airflow comes in low.
Why does that make sense? That doesn't make sense.
I think it does, right? Hot air rises.
I think
This isn't a double hung window. This is only a single hung window.
I know, so it's you're gonna go under, right?
Where's the hot air going?
That's not even considered in this build at
I know.
all.
Okay.
But I know what you're saying. I mean, low windows, I guess wherever you put them is kind of designer's choice, right? There's not a right or
you're
wrong
right, that's
place
weird.
to put them.
It doesn't make sense to me. And so I'm sitting there going,
I guess it's less mechanism, right? Because you're not dealing with the full window, the part that's moving.
I'll find out when I go to the window world. You pointed out the duct tape earlier, but look what's happening. Why
They're
they had to
gluing
do
it
that.
back. It's a clamp.
It's for glue. It's a clamp. It's a clamp.
I know, but it's been on there since I came the last time I came.
No, I'm just saying it's crazy.
They shouldn't have used.
You should have used blue tape. That's crazy. There's the
Oh
glue.
yeah, there's the
squeeze
wood
out.
glue.
So, but look at that. I talked about those hollow doors in the fiberglass.
It's just split.
They've got a little veneer, which is what this face is. Little veneer, all on some kind of styrofoam core.
So-
and then this is builder grade hardware, right? Just this cheap plastic that has a
Is this plastic too?
metallic finish on it. Oh my gosh! That is it's just the worst.
So Richard, Brent, what's a door like this cost?
I think they're around $60.
$60 per door. How many doors per house? 30? 20?
20,
Probably 20.
22.
So 20 times 60, I mean, that's nothing.
I know.
That seems like no
that's
part
why
of
we
your
look
budget.
at these numbers and go, okay, $2,800 for the window package. Why don't we just spend $10,000 and have
Right.
a great window?
Right.
It's $7,500 more. I think the client will pay for that.
Right.
I think.
And you can.
I think
you'll make up for
windows,
that
yes.
somewhere else.
Doors, you'd have a harder time selling, but then they would be happier once they actually moved in, you know? Because there would be less noise pollution and everything like that.
You now see the neighborhood, kind of what we're up against. That there's,
Competition's easy.
well, the design competition is pretty easy. Now, will the customer pay extra for the things that we're talking about doing?
I mean, you're coming from the English Premier League and playing in a rec league right here. You know what I mean? I could use another analogy if that wasn't helpful.
No, I appreciate that analogy.
But doesn't it make sense? Because you're now, it's kind of funny. You're like, look at the competition. It's like, yeah, it's like they've been playing soccer with their.
But here's the deal.
Shin
I
guards
don't know if
hanging
they're
out.
playing soccer. That'd be my analogy.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to continue that, they're playing some weird form of soccer where you can, you can tackle people and you can.
I think that's called rugby.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
kick people in the nuts and just, that's rules. Okay, go. We're all kicking each
felt
other in the
like
nuts.
when I
just
drive
like, what
through
is
here-
this? Well, I'm not playing soccer anymore. What?
I was saying when we drive through, I feel like I was kicked. I was just like, oh, this is.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
So that's the problem
Yeah.
with that analogy. It's just like, it would be great that if I could bring all the things that we know, bring down here, but you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So then you're sitting there.
I mean, realistically, you're painting a painting and they're playing boxing.
You're just Mr. Analogy today.
Just trying to think of them. It's hard to, because you're literally doing an art form and they're just like, let's go out here and make a bunch of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you're like, let's make something really cool, and they're like, bottom line, okay, we're good.
And then if you look at their houses, they live in nice houses that are architecturally correct. Like
Right.
the big boys who are in charge
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
That's
they're
crazy.
Yeah, my production builder buddy just had a custom home builder build his house, and it was just, he wasn't having these guys build his house.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So,
That should say so much about that. Oh,
I mean, it's a business. That's all it is.
yeah, it is.
It's
And
just-
I just see the propaganda posters now of like, this production builder got a custom home.
yeah.
he won't stand behind
So-
his product.
Do we want to keep looking around this piece
Can
of
we
junk,
look at
kicking
that?
the tires?
I know when we were in the living room,
Yeah.
I saw there's an accent wall over there.
Oh, let's
Can
go
we
check
look
out
at
the
it?
accent wall.
Yeah, so one of the things I did a lot of when I was working in these houses was these type of treatments. But this is basically shiplap.
What is this called? I really like this kind of feature here. What is this?
Shiplap. Did you watch a lot of Fixer Upper?
Not an accent wall?
Joanna Gaines made you like this
Ah, yeah.
subconsciously.
No, I didn't like Fixer Upper.
But this is like what she would do. She would go in and remodel these houses in Waco, and she would tear off like the drywall or whatever, and then there'd be like shiplap behind it.
Which was how houses pre-1940 were sheathed on the inside. And so she
So
would
is it
pull off.
exposed?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
pulled that off and exposed it, and then all of a sudden, oh, isn't that cool?
Then they paint it white, and then now, I mean, you go to big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot. Every lumberyard is going to carry a shiplap.
Do you know the irony of like that whole process is it used to be that you stripped away the drywall to get to the shiplap, and now they have put drywall on and then have framed out
That
a
is
shiplap
so ironic.
on the
Yes.
thing, which is crazy.
Yeah, and hers was
go
like
backwards.
real distressed and like
I'm sure.
real, and this
Spider.
is just like real smooth. And I mean, it's part of the.
Sorry, I just killed a spider. Trying to get back in my spot.
I was just looking at the superior craftsmanship here on the ladder.
Yeah, that's not great.
Wow.
That's a really bad turn.
You would scream at me if you saw that.
Is that the
You'd be
woodwork?
like, "Ah." No, that's this. This piece is just nailed in past this piece. So this piece needs to be brought out to where
Right.
they match up.
I mean,
But yeah, this is one of those things that the wife would come in and say, "Oh, it has I could put my little farmhouse table here and my thing that says eat." And I don't know what this is like, acting like a crown, I guess, to hide that transition.
yeah, it's a really weird thing.
It's disgusting. It's bad.
Well,
and then this doesn't wrap.
Why don't we do this, because we can see this over the other house where they didn't finish it. We've got a house over here. It's almost at this same stage, but a lot of the trim isn't, and I think we'll see more if we go over there.
Definitely.
Hey, really quick, last question here. We're talking about how, someone would take this house and probably just replace all the hardware, replace the sink, replace like a lot of this stuff just out of their own budget. Have they intentionally left off some of the cabinet hardware here? Like, have they intentionally,
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Is it going to be left like that?
It probably doesn't come with hardware.
It probably doesn't come with hardware because they're expecting that.
Or they'll change it anyway.
Right, they're expecting the change. That is so crazy. This is so subway tile, new trend, right? Happened in COVID. Wow. Okay, well, cool. Let's go check out that other house.
Yeah.
Above
So
the trim.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing here kind of some examples of what we don't want to build, and how the use of this material is. I mean, if you just look at this whole arrangement here, look at that pork chop end, and it's just a piece of 3/8 inch plywood that's kind of just thrown out there.
Oh, it's
so
OSB.
thin.
It's oriented.
Yeah.
It's basically 4x8 mulch.
And it's been textured on the face to look like wood, right?
Yeah.
So it was wood, and now they're trying to, as Joe Leesbrick says, it was wood.
It was wood. It still is wood, but it doesn't look like wood.
I mean, so I don't like the mix of materials here. This kind of
red brick concrete
with the stone, I don't think looks very good.
It's very off-putting. It's like, what's going on?
You need to get off-putting. What is that?
Zach Galifianakis, two ferns.
Well, I mean, even just standing here looking at the craftsmanship of it, I'm seeing gaps everywhere. If you look above the front door where it has that, and I know that front door slab is going to be replaced, that's just a construction door, but the trim around it, if you look between the trim of the door and the trim of that window above it, it's a tiny little sliver piece. And it doesn't even line up.
Doesn't line up with the thing above.
I'm like, what are you doing?
It was like they almost split the difference between the door casing around it and the other.
See how the batten comes down? It should come all the way through there.
I see it. There should be three technically, but they're goofy. Well, this might just be me. Is that not angled back? That gable, like the wall siding of the house, it looks like it's sloped backwards. Like if you look at the gap there and then the gap at the top, it gets wider at the top than it does at the bottom. Like it looks like it's literally off kilter. Am I crazy?
I doubt. Well, you're not crazy, but
you doubt it.
I'm not sure I visually see what you're doing.
Okay, good.
I'm going in this house.
Maybe I'm wild. Okay.
Okay, so this is the concrete floor. We got no base trim. Oh, and they put a different molding here.
Oh, this is the C322.
Okay, the fact that you know that is not good.
I think it is pretty awesome. We have a man from the inside, We turned one of theirs.
So, big beam at the top.
Well, it's not a big beam.
Look
it's
at they
just
got
a
a
bunch
pillow
of wood.
window there. I wonder why they thought that putting a pillow window in here would be an
What's Pella?
That's the sliding door.
I hate those.
So that's interesting.
But look, it's not even a real beam.
I know. I didn't.
You said it's got a big beam at the top, and I was like,
"There's a wood beam."
You missed it.
It's a box
because
beam,
it's a
but
box.
it's just awful.
Gross. But here's where I was saying, if I stained these floors, and we just went straight with concrete in here, we'd save. Let's say we save $5,000, put it into something else. Would that be acceptable?
I'm not a fan of the stained concrete floors, personally, but I mean, I don't know what the people would say about
What's
that.
the cost
and then
of
you got
wood?
issues like this that are always going to happen. They'll have to be epoxied over. And
What's the cost of doing wood in here?
I mean, probably triple that budget. It'd probably be $15,000 instead of $5,000.
I mean, in my mind, 10 extra grand for.
But you realize what we're doing. 10 there.
I know.
10 there.
I know. That
5
makes
there.
sense.
All of a sudden, we're $50,000 over where we wanted to be.
Because what's the ultimate? Because we're selling this house for like mid-5 to mid-6, right?
We're
Or
trying to
5
stay in
to
the
6.
5.
Okay, so what is the number of like what you're trying to spend on like materials and building and everything else, like to where you break even?
I don't know that number yet.
But like, would you imagine? Because
I would think that if you could make 10% here, so if you sold it for 500,000,
so 400.
Your costs are 450.
Okay.
You made 50 grand.
Great.
But I don't know if we can.
Right.
You know, I'm just saying, generally in business, if you can make 10%, that'd be great. Our margins could be 5% by the time we said it. And that's, I mean, if D.R. Horton's building this, I don't think they're probably making 10% a house. Maybe they are.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this plan is over and over in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Walk into a living room, kitchen's off to the right, big open plan, you know, accent wall. And
Oh yeah, there's the same accent wall.
We've been in 3 of these, and there it is again, same exact.
let's go look at that.
So we went to another house, and at the other house it looked like the homeowner was there. We thought they may not love the idea of us
Yeah.
goofing on their home, because they may be really happy with it, like your point.
But this is where you were saying we've got a cased opening.
Yeah, I did that to the same
with
window.
sheetrock here.
Yeah, you have this small area of texture.
It just
are you
moves
seeing
so
that?
much.
Like,
Yeah.
you got to finish, and then
Just for the camera's sake.
Whenever
This
we
little
paint,
guy.
and they paint it white, it just doesn't do it. It looks bad.
Because they really could have had it 2 different colors and like tried to make it pop or something. But
No, I think you just put a piece of wood there and make a jam.
put a piece of wood there.
Yeah.
It's just so. That's how much more would it be to put a jam there? It's like
they probably
15
cut down
minutes
one
of
of these
my time.
pieces.
And I truly thought we were past the point of having to use this trim.
what's that?
This 322.
C322.
What is that?
Yeah.
So that thing is 5/8 of an inch,
Yeah,
maybe
like
half
2
an
and a
inch,
half. Yeah.
and about 2.5 wide. And so, you know, if you've watched my molding, my things on punctuating an opening, there's supposed to be a proportion between the size of the opening and the size of the casing. Not happening here.
Right.
I mean, these lines are so small, a couple paint jobs, and it just looks like,
Oh, it turns into a
gone.
1 by again.
Yeah.
It's like
My question
Bumps
is,
and
like,
bruises.
in these instances, would it just be better to do no molding?
these are the questions we are asking.
I think
Yes.
yes, but they won't sell you a house with no molding. They'll tell you like no.
Appraiser will come in and say, yeah, it's not worth as much, there's no moldings. I'm guessing on
So,
that.
like, really, our target market should be the appraisers. Because if we can get those guys to
Hold on.
go, this is great.
We just had a gust and this whole thing. I don't know if
Shifted.
the audio picked it up, but it was like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
That just happened
These
while
things-
you were talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is scary. The amount of this is moving is like wild. I can hear it just going.
So one of the things I hate is they've got this wainscoting for this building, or wainscoting, or whatever you want to call this.
Bricks coating.
In my mind, if they had just lowered it about 3 courses, okay, you'd have had this proportion of pedestal and column. But when they go up almost, 40% of the way to put this in all around the house, it's a grounding tool that's messed up and it's at the wrong height, and it drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. It's just like lower that, the proportions would be so much better. This column here, if we can call it that, just the proportion of this pedestal to this column, this is too small.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's holding up this corner, I think it visually could be much stronger. So it's just
This is also
again. But here's where I'm saying I don't need to spend more money. I'm actually going to save money by lowering that. And then, just fix this. That doesn't cost more money. So there's parts of this that I sit there and go, you know what, this could really work because I'm going to fix a bunch of these things. But then I don't know if it will look significantly better. If you just drive around this neighborhood, are you going to drive by my house and go, oh, wow, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I think you will.
Yeah, you can see the 2x4s on that house all the way down there. You can see that there is literally a 1.5 foot gap from here to
But
that
I'm saying, in the gable end, there's historic precedent for that. You keep pointing that out as if
But
that's
the
a
thing is
terrible
this
thing.
thick. It's like they've got like a little bendy sticker on the front of there. It's like a half, you know what I mean? It's like they've strung a banner across the way, and it's just like a paper banner. It's nothing. Because I get what you're saying, that there is a precedent for that, but like the precedent is that they're a square box timbers. You're saying that that's precedent?
If it's a
2-L-Y.
If you just want to talk historic precedent, yes, there's precedent for that.
Ugh.
So anyway, it's I guess I don't even know what else to say.
Well, we got a challenge ahead of you, I say.
We can go back in and talk about it, but I did want to get.
This room is super interesting too.
I think this brick's ugly. Hopefully they're going to paint it. You know, I think the that board and batten is overused, but you know.
Well, I mean, like this room, the space in this room is really weird because you got to factor in they're going to open this window out, and like the idea would be that it just opens up into this grand area,
have a TV
but it's
right
literally
there.
going to open up and it's like half cut off, right?
Yeah, and you have again a TV right there, and then your seating is in the way of the double door.
Right, what do you do?
What are you doing?
Do you
It's
set
very
up?
confined.
There's no seating that you can do for this area, this space. Like, does the couch go right here, or do like cushions go like that? How do you get by the outside inside? You know, you tuck a chair back here.
And one of the reasons they use the board and batten look on this is so they can hide all the plywood seams, you know, like
Yeah.
around the body of the house. And this is just a screen molding.
Yeah, I know.
That just the guy needs to change his blade. It's like,
Really?
Yeah, look at that right there.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it'll just get caulked, but
Yeah.
man, I don't know. Just caulk it, right?
Golly. All right. Do you want to head back inside?
Yeah.
See some more fun?
So.
Sorry, we were just pointing out the 8-foot to 6-foot door transition here.
Yeah, I know. It's a mess. Okay, so look at this cabinet. MDF, okay, no back, just a board going across the top. There's no backer on this thing. Everything's overlay. Wood poplar fronts, but full extension drawers, but they're not slow close. I'm just looking at the construction details and everything else. Pretty cheap. I don't know. We need to make sure this isn't going to leak, but it'd be interesting to know what waterproofing is. You've got your pan here, right, which is going to manage things, and they've gone with the blue board here, but it's just.
What's the pan? What's the blue board do?
So the pan is this membrane here, okay, and it's going to collect all that, but it gets pulled over here, and then your tile and everything else goes on top of it, and it gets waterproofed so that any water that gets in here, and this pan should go up the wall a certain amount all the way around.
Yeah.
I don't know that it does, but.
Are you worried about puncturing the pan by stepping on that?
I'm worried about the integrity of all of this with this blue board, with this pan, and just how this is going to be put together.
Yeah.
Look at how far he had to bring his cabinet out to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there's an example of your.
So this is the framing being messed up, right?
See this gap back here? I mean, he's out 3/4 of an inch back there, and he's tight
over
here.
That's rough.
So that wall just goes.
Yeah, and you don't see it until you start putting straight boards on it, and then you really see it.
But if you look at this functionally, right? They've got a master. It's not huge, but it is off the laundry room, so the laundry room can connect to the master closet. That's something that we're doing on our houses, right? And so that's a nice feature. It's a nice thing to be able to check off and say, oh, we did that though.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like it's a nice thing. Like you're saying, all these things are nice. These guys are willing to compromise a big master for what? Like they've got this house and they've got like a non-massive master bedroom, right?
Small.
So like you kind of play the game of like, well, I wonder if they would be willing to have just a smaller house altogether, maybe a big kitchen or maybe a big living room that's like their big portion of the house or what, but you know what I mean?
I think in a development like this, everybody's playing the game of I need to check these boxes. I
Yes.
need to have this square footage by this
Yeah.
amount of number.
And it doesn't go past that. I don't think there's any thinking after that. I think once you check those boxes and get those priorities, you move on in their mind, you know?
Yeah.
Who cares? Then it's just budget. And it's just like, I can see the cardboard on this dented right here, you know?
I mean, you can see the warp in that wall straight on.
It's so rough. It's so sad.
Yeah,
It's
it
like-
literally, that wall is literally doing this. Like, do you see that? It's making a helix.
Oh, if you look at this right here,
Look at it twisting.
Whoa.
that is messed up.
That is bad right there. That's worse than the one behind me. Well, this is like what, when we were walking in, Kristen said, I feel like it's a scam. I feel like it's a scam too, because I'm ultimately thinking of like the homeowner.
Look at this wall.
That's
That's what I'm saying. It's literally warped. It starts this way and it ends this way.
Got to pay extra for that.
And did you want the straight wall package?
I mean, you even look at this freaking window. This isn't square. That's going up at a curve. And then that one, like, do you see that? It's going, maybe it's...
Jackson, don't look too close. Come on.
I'm looking all sorts of close. I don't know, man. But look at this too. This is just a weird thing. You've got the 6-foot door and then the 8-foot door. Richard pointed that out. Isn't that weird?
Well, the 8-foot door, Jackson's worth a lot more than a 6-foot door.
Apparently. What appraiser are you going to?
I can't even slam that hard enough when I get in an argument.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to really put the period on your argument by slamming the door. The wind will stop it.
Yeah,
So ultimately,
this is our competition.
Yes, that's very true.
You feel invigorated the fact that possibly we'd have to compete against this, but it's also intimidating because we got to compete against this.
yeah,
Right? So
it's like they're paying little league players big league bucks.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
why is that? I'm not following that one.
these guys are making all sorts of money on these houses, but
they're
they're
not
like from
professional.
little league.
Yeah.
They're like not playing the big leagues.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Well, hopefully you don't buy this.
Now you got me looking at all these cased openings.
Or the lack
How do you
thereof.
transition that one straight into
Over the coming, weeks and months, we're going to have more stuff for us to talk about on this subject. If you guys are interested in and want us to
Check
spend
out
more
some-
time here.
I don't know
right?
if we want to.
Yeah, I know. And so, but if this is of interest, we'll follow this story along and then maybe come back when it's being built and stuff like that. So.
We'd love to see. I mean, I think the thing that's going to be the most interesting is the side by side.
And if you go to
Yes.
my website or the YouTube page, I do have a video on the house that we designed here, so you'll be able to check that out.
Now you have like a little frame of context because he was saying last episode how they play into one another. So you'll have a little bit of context for
Yeah.
what
that
they're
house
playing
is on
into.
the same street as this one.
Yeah.
Just right over there.
Yeah, true.
The thing that's sorry, I'm just blown away. The cabinets are
keep
crooked.
going. Yeah,
Everything's
it's so crazy.
yeah. Anyway, hey, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.